Do that. Okay, hi guys. So, I don't know if anybody's here with me yet. I'm trying some new technology. Unfortunately, StreamYard, I can't show my table. It just doesn't work very well. It's too grainy. It's not great. So, I thought maybe I'd try this. It might be the same. It might be grainy. It might be terrible, but I figured I'd try. At least when it came to recording it on my computer, it worked really well. So welcome, guys. Hello. I see a couple of you popping in. I'm going to open it on my other screen here. Hi, Pamela. How are you guys doing today? This video is going to be all about going from keywords to interpretation. I am so excited for this, guys. Oh, Sarah, hello. You got off work early today. Congratulations. That is amazing. Happy Friday. Happy beginning of your weekend, Sarah. Welcome in, guys. Okay. So I definitely notice a clarity difference between on my screen and this screen. So I'm hoping you guys are going to be able to see it very well when I show the tabletop. But if not, we can maybe make some adjustments. How are you guys doing today? Are you excited for this live? I am so excited. I have been thinking about it nonstop for days. So I'm so excited to be here with you guys. Got it. Just making sure all of my tech is going good. Hello, Maida. How are you? Welcome in, guys. Can you guys hear me okay? Let me scooch on over. Yes, very excited. Awesome. Okay, so how many of you guys have already put your keywords on your cards? How many of you are trying to figure out how to do that? How many people here haven't even considered putting their keywords on their cards? My cat has been so quiet all day until just now. She's using the scratcher. I'm so sorry. Okay, so I'm just going to wait for you guys to let me know where you are in the process of your learning. Let me talk about what we're going to be talking about in this live, and let's go ahead and get started. So first and foremost, we are going to be talking about how to use keywords to unlock the meanings of the tarot cards. We're going to talk about keywords. We're going to talk about how to find them, how to assign them. We're going to talk about how to come up with each and every keyword. I'm going to demonstrate a reading for you, and then you guys are going to practice your skills as well. So I am really excited to get started, guys. Pamela says, I have put keywords, but I've been making adjustments. Perfect. Maida says, I haven't started yet. No worries, Maida. Take your time. Okay, so I think that it is quite important to use keywords when you're learning tarot, because I personally had a hard time learning without them. It felt like too much. It felt way too overwhelming. For me, it felt like I didn't know where to begin. So labeling my study deck with keywords was the biggest thing that I did. It gave me the time to sit down with each card, to consider each card, and then I had a base to start from when I started doing my readings. This is important because tarot can be such a beautiful place to tap in to your inner wisdom. Self-inquiry is a really important part of personal and spiritual growth. And what I love about tarot is it's a mixture between self-inquiry and reframing. So not only are we asking ourselves questions and inquiring into our intuition, but then we are taking cards and we're saying, okay, how can I make this kind of fit? And what I've found for me over the years using both Oracle and tarot cards is what it does is it helps me reframe things and look at things from multiple different points of view. Things occur to me that have never occurred to me before. And I notice that I have those aha moments much more often. And I often say one aha moment can change your life. And so when you're doing a tarot reading for yourself, you do absolutely have an opportunity to change your life in that moment, in that reading as you're doing a reading. And also, if you're doing readings for other people, you have an opportunity to change their life as well, to facilitate that spark of awareness for them, and change their life. Why do you want to learn tarot? And the thing of it is starting with a keyword can make it much easier. Tarot's complex. Tarot's got a lot of moving parts, and so having that keyword makes a good entry place for learning about each and every one of the cards. I'm going to check and see if there's any comments here. Okay, hello guys. I see a couple more people have popped on. Okay, so for me, assigning keywords to each of my cards was the best thing that I did for my tarot journey. Before that, I felt like I was stuck. I felt like I was spinning my wheels. Once I assigned those keywords, I was able to jump and go, kind of off to the races, right? Okay, so let's talk about the step-by-step that you're going to need in order to label your keywords and go from keywords to interpretation. So the number one step, I guess, would be to pick a deck. You're going to want a deck that is easy to learn on. So this is the deck. This is one of the decks that I use in the High Priestess Tarot School as I am going through the meetings. So this is one of the decks that I have labeled. I actually have 3 decks labeled. So the first step is going to be picking out a deck. I always recommend to pick out a deck in which the minor arcana cards have a picture on them. So you can see this 9 of Cups has a picture. It has an image. It's not just 9 cups. If you buy a deck that has just 9 cups on here, it's going to be harder to make those associations with each and every card. So I recommend making sure that there's a picture depiction of every single card, including the minor arcana on whatever deck that you choose. Some of my favorites are this one here, the Rider Tarot deck. The Light Seers deck are 2 of my favorites. Hi, Maria. Okay, so first step is finding the deck. Second step is deciding how you're going to label it. So I recommend 2 different ways. The first way is just to take an ultra fine Sharpie and then just write on it. So you can see contentment is down here at the bottom of this card. So just taking your ultra fine Sharpie, writing your keyword directly on the card. I like to use the margins when I do this. And then if you want, you can at a later date, cut the margins off when you feel really comfortable with your cards. A second way is just to write it anywhere on the card. You know, I could write contentment right here. A third way is to grab some washi tape, and washi tape is really cool because it's a sticky tape that you can put on and then take back off easily. So when you're done with your keywords, you might want to peel them off. I have never been done with my keywords. I love my keywords. I don't have any reason to take them off. In fact, a lot of times when I'm reading for someone in person, I will have those keywords on the card. And what I found is my clients actually love to be able to see them. I think that it makes it a little less mysterious, and it demystifies it for them. Okay, so washi tape. And if you want more instructions about the washi tape, here in the Love, Magic, and Personal Power group, you can find instructions in the Learn Tarot unit here in the group. If you're in the High Priestess Tarot School, there are instructions prior to the all 78 meetings. Let me show you where those are at. Any questions coming up so far? Feel free to ask questions along the way as we're going, guys. I'm so excited to see you all here with me. Let's see. Okay, so if you are in the membership and you would like instructions on how to label your cards, you're going to come here to all 78 card meetings, and you're going to come to creating your study deck. I'm going to give it just a second to load. Take this opportunity for a little drink. Okay, so here in creating your study deck, I show you step by step how to use the washi tape. I show you all of the supplies that you're going to need. If you choose to use the washi tape, you're going to need some washi tape, You're going to need a straight razor and a ultrafine Sharpie, or you can just write it directly on with a Sharpie, and all you need is your deck and your Sharpie. If you're in the membership, I also have in this introduction section some supply suggestions right here. Okay, now I'm going to see if we have any questions or comments before we move on to the next step. Sarah says, if anybody wants some washi tape, I have extra. I'd be happy to mail you. Thank you so much, Sarah. That is so generous. Can you tell me which class I'm in? Maida, you are in the High Priestess Tarot School. And so in the High Priestess Tarot School, Maida, let me show you. Oh, let me move away from that because that would just look really weird. Okay, so let me show you here. You have access to every single one of these modules except for the ones that say TPA and the ones that say MIM. So TPA is for Tarot Practice Academy. MIM is for Magic and Intuition Mastery, but all of the rest of these modules you have access to. So if it's unmarked with letters at the beginning, that is High Priestess Tarot School. TPA, Tarot Practice Academy, is marked with TPA, and Magic and Intuition Mastery is marked with MIM. Okay, any other questions before we keep going? Okay, so number one, get a study deck. Grab all of the supplies you're going to need to label them. And then I had a couple questions about like, how do I know what are the keywords? How do I know what keywords to use? And so I have a few different options for you if you have this question. So a free option is my free tarot flashcards. I grabbed those. So I'm going to go ahead and share my tabletop screen real quick because I have my physical copy of these. So I'm going to show you. So this is option number one. There's a lot of different options for this when it comes to keywords. And I'll kind of tell you like the pros and the cons for each option. Okay, let me turn off my video. Okay. Perfect, perfect. So you should be able to see my cloth right now. Yes, you can. I am eager to see how clear this is. Let me know if this is clear or if it's really blurry for you guys. Okay, so I'm just going to lay out a couple of these cards here so that you can see them. So these are my tarot flashcards. You can print these out or you can just use the digital file. These are completely free. And so with these, you'll notice that there are some upright keywords. Is it clear? Amazing. Thank you so much, Sarah. Okay, so I'm going to show you on the full real quick. We have risk, new beginnings, innocence, adventure, spontaneity, faith, potential, journey. And you might look at that and say like, oh, this is just like a guidebook. It's a lot. It's a lot of keywords. And you're right. It's really best to narrow it down to maybe 2 maximum keywords for your cards. I like 1. I only put 1 keyword on each of my cards, but I would do maybe 1 or 2. So in a lot of these, my primary keywords is listed as the first one or the first few. But either way, all you have to do is pull one of these words that really feels like it encompasses the card, and you can label it on your card. So this is one option here, is to grab these tarot flashcards, whether you use them printed or you just look at the digital version, and you pick a keyword from here. Okay, option number 2. I'm gonna have to, this is so fun. Okay, let me stop. It's probably easier to do this here on my computer. Okay, stop the video, start my video. I'm back. Okay, one of these days I'm gonna get the hang of tech, guys. Okay, number 2. And this one I think is the best way, is the High Priestess Tarot School. Let me show you the screen. So in the High Priestess Tarot School, in this module, all 78 card readings, you are going to get each and every keyword that I use. You can just take my keywords. If you want to press the easy button and just start with my keywords, you can. Or you can really feel into it and choose your own keyword. So in each of these videos, you can see there's 2 videos for the major arcana. I explain the core meaning of each card. I explain my keyword, why I chose that keyword, and I also mention a few other alternate keywords that would be really good. So what I do in each of these is I share with you my keywords, my meanings, and how I view each of these cards and how I read each of these cards. This I feel like is the most immersive. This I feel like is the very best way to get your keywords, but we have another way. So in this module here, building your relationship with your cards, you have your tarot journal. By the way, this is also available if you're not a member, and the link for that is above if you'd like to check this out, and if you'd like to get a copy of this without joining the membership. So in the Tarot Reflections Journal, you're going to find this exact same information. Do you see where I'm circling it here? I don't know. Yeah, I think you guys can see my little mouse there. You'll see that there's the same photo from the tarot flashcards. So you can pick one of these here. And also what's great about this journal, guys, even after you get your keywords put onto your cards, you can jump into this journal and you can write your primary keyword. You can ask yourself, what is my relationship with this keyword? Recall a time you've experienced or needed this energy. What were you thinking and feeling? And what advice would you give that version of you? So we're really taking that keyword and building our own relationship with the keyword so that we are then building our own relationship with each and every card. So those are some of the ways we can not only get our keywords, but to explore our keywords. So I'd love to see if you guys have any questions on this. Oh, Maria says that's what I use to get my keywords. Were you talking about the tarot flashcards or the videos? I have some notes here too. Moving right along. We are moving right along, guys. Any questions on that? So first off, it's getting the deck. It's getting all the supplies you're going to need to label it. Second is assigning your keywords to your deck. Oh, you got them from the videos. I definitely feel like if possible, that is the best method to get your keywords. That's going to help you hear my version of the card. I like to boil it down to like the very base meaning of the card to me, why I chose that keyword, and some good alternative keywords if that one doesn't resonate with you. Okay, next up, let's start with a demonstration, guys. Who wants to do the demonstration? Okay, so now we've got our keywords. Now we've got our deck and it's labeled with our keywords. What's next? Okay, so I'm going to switch my camera again. Eventually, I'll be able to do this a little bit more seamlessly. Okay, so let's start with the demonstration of, okay, so now we have our keywords, now what? Oh, we're gonna need to pick a, we're going to need to pick a spread first. So let's do that. Okay. So I thought it would be fun to pick a spread from my new spreads bundle. I think the best way to do that is to just do it from like the view in Canva. I think there's like a nice multi-page view it's going to be nice. Let's do that. So I was thinking we could start off with a simple 3-card spread. So let's see. Let's see what we've got in here. If anything stands out for you, put it in the comments, and we're going to do 2 spreads. So we might choose it for our second one. I'd like something 3 cards. I love this one. Okay. So take your time. Go ahead and screenshot this if you want, or even write it down. I'm going to go ahead and write down the 3 things. So number 1 is the current energy. So this is a great spread when you feel a little stuck. If you don't feel like you are making progress towards your manifestation or dream. So number 1 is current energy. Number 2 is what could be holding you back. And number 3 is what energy am I being invited to step into? 3, step into. Go ahead and screenshot that or write it down if you want. Current energy, what's holding you back, and what are you stepping into? Okay. All right, guys, ready to get started? Are you guys still with me? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull the 3 cards. Let's do these for a pretend person. What's a name of somebody that's an uncommon name that, we're not going to see a person with that name, actually. What's an uncommon name? We're going to make up a fictional character with this uncommon name. Any ideas? Help me out, guys. Tarzan, let's do it. Okay, so this is going to be for Tarzan. We're going to pull a card for Tarzan. Tarzan is having trouble manifesting. Let's say they're having trouble manifesting their dream job. Okay, so their current energy. So we're going to flip up a card. What's holding them back? I'm just going to cut and flip up another card. By the way, all of our shuffling, cutting, all of that's going to be different. For me, it's been a really intuitive process figuring out like how I choose my cards. I personally like to shuffle, pull one, shuffle, pull another, shuffle, pull another. As I'm pulling each card, I'm asking the question for the card. So let's go ahead and get started. So in the number 1 spot, what is your current energy? So Tarzan is looking for a good job so that he can buy his dream car. He is feeling really stuck. He feels like he isn't making progress to finding this new job to buy his new car, his dream car. You guys gave me such great names. Thank you. I'm seeing them popping in. Morning Star. I love it. Okay. So Tarzan is trying to manifest this dream job so that he can manifest his dream car. He knows that that's a big step that he has to take. So that's his focus, right? So now we're going to say current energy is the Ace of Pentacles. You see here an opportunity is my keyword. So the Pentacle suit is all about goals recognized, manifestations, resources, physical resources, time, money, energy. is all about pentacles, and this is an opportunity for that. So this feels very in line with a new job. So to me, I would say Tarzan likely has an opportunity coming. So my first step when I pull this, I'm going to give you like step by step what to do here. First, we're just going to look at the cards. Take a minute to just kind of look at the energy of the cards. Is there a dominant suit here? Are there any suits missing from here? Are there a lot of majors? Are there a lot of minors? What stands out in the art? And always tapping into the intuition as well. Sometimes we feel more intuitive than others, and that's okay because the cards themselves come with a message. You don't need any intuition to get the message from the cards, and then the intuition is just an added bonus on top of that. Okay, so first we're just going to kind of look at it, and then we're going to examine the keywords within the context of the spread. So question number one was current energy. He's in this energy of opportunity. So I would say that there may be an opportunity available for Tarzan, or he's in the current energy of looking for opportunities. This is a wonderful energy to be in when you're looking for a job, or your dream career or your dream job. This is, you can see that the universe is handing this opportunity of, physical resources, which is great because he wants to manifest a car. So I would say for this first card, this is the current energy of opportunity. He's in the energy of opportunity. There may be some opportunities available for him. And then I like to just kind of keep going, right? So I personally like to read them all individually, and then I like to do a wrap up at the end. You don't have to do it that way, but that always makes much more sense for me so that I could really look at and digest each of these cards and then do a bit of a summary. Okay, number two, what's holding him back? So the Hermit here, you can see my keyword is guidance. So I would say that there could be this. So right away when I see that, a lot of times I think of the Hermit as like bringing yourself, sitting, being internal, reflecting on what you really want, reflecting on what you really need. There's this element of spiritual guidance that you get when you were kind of in that hermit moment. There's also a possibility of like maybe Tarzan needs some guidance with his RV or his resume. Maybe he needs to reach out and find some guidance when it comes to job hunting or job searching. Maybe there's a temp agency that he could connect with, So for me, this could be like some internal reflection, making sure that he's really clear about what he wants. Or this could be possibly finding some sort of guidance in terms of helping him move forward. So in the context of what's holding you back, it could be insecurities. It could be not being clear of what he wants, or it could be not having the help that he needs and the guidance that he needs here in the physical realm to actually make that jump, right? So there's a lot of options that just immediately come to mind here. And what I would like to do is explain all of those to my client. So I don't feel like it's my job as the reader to just like intuitively know, right? Like sometimes I can feel this vibe that's like, oh, I definitely feel like it's this one of the choices. But usually I don't. Usually I'm there's some choices that come up, there's some vibes that come up, and then I just explain it to the client. And then they like to tell me, they're like, oh yeah, I've been thinking about, finding somebody to help me because the last time I updated my resume was 3 years ago, and I really think that it needs to be upgraded. Yeah, internal pros and cons list. Absolutely. Maybe he's going to be like, yeah, I'm feeling really nervous about it. I don't know exactly what I want. I'm, torn between 3 different types of jobs, so I'm having a hard time focusing. So Tarzan's going to help me with this. I don't have to know exactly what's going on for him to be able to tell him what this energy is and what some of the possibilities are, right? And then last, what does Tarzan need to step into? Being honest with himself. So once I get to this card, I'm really thinking, oh, being honest with himself, trusting that he's going to get the job that's right for him. This is definitely a mental suit. The Queen of Swords is very honest and straightforward. So once I get to this card, I'm thinking, oh, well, this definitely to me feels like not exactly knowing where to go, not exactly knowing what he needs or wants out of a job, not knowing which type of career to go for. it's time to get really honest about those things, and it's time to do that inner work and that reflection. So what's holding him back is not doing that reflection, not doing that inner work to decide what's next. And what he needs to step forward into is being honest with himself about what he wants and needs, so that he can focus in and take advantage of these opportunities. So I know that there's a bit of lag, so I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes. Any questions on that? Anything you'd like to add to it? And then after this, we're gonna do one together. You guys are going to interpret the next one. So I feel like it can feel a little bit overwhelming because I talked about so many things that can go into it. But when we just sit with it and we start to tell that story, and we start to go to like, okay, current energy is this, what's holding you back is this, and then what to step into is this. It starts to feel more and more clear as we talk about or process each and every one of these cards. No questions? Okay, let's pick another. Did any of those spreads stand out to you? Let's pick another spread. Oh, now I can't see your guys' response. I can't see your guys' responses when I'm sharing the screen. Okay, so let's go to the personal and spiritual growth. Can you guys read the titles? I don't think I can zoom in any more than this. Maybe I can do the Control P thing. Nope. We could do intuitive flow. How does that feel? Intuitive flow? Okay, I'm going to stop sharing so that I can see what you guys are saying. Grounding. Okay, you got it, Pamela. Let's do the grounding. You were first. Okay. Sharing my screen again. Grounding. Okay, so go ahead and jot down the questions real quick. Number 1, what is currently causing me to feel ungrounded? Two, what practices can I incorporate to help me feel more grounded? 3, how can I connect more with my physical body? And number 4, practical step can I stay grounded throughout the day? What can help me stay grounded throughout the day? I'm going to give you guys just a couple more seconds. I hope you guys can see that. Yeah, you should be able to. I can on my computer screen. Okay, does everybody have that? Let me know in the comments. Say yes if you've got it. Let me know if you need one of the questions again. I can reread it. Yes. Maria's got it. Okay, so let's pick another name. We've got Rosalind. Let's use Rosalind for our example this time. How does that sound? We're going to do a reading for Rosalind, our pretend client who wants to feel more grounded. So this client may be feeling really scattered. They may be feeling somewhat anxious. They may be feeling like they can't sit still, or that they don't feel very connected to themselves or the people around them. Okay, let's go ahead and get started, guys. Okay, so number one, what is causing Rosalind to feel ungrounded? So I'm gonna put that one up. There we go. And I'm really zoomed in a way that doesn't really allow for 4 cards. Let me raise this up just a little bit. It'd be helpful. Okay, so this is number one. Next up, we've got practices to feel more grounded. Right here. Number 3, physical body connection. So how can Rosalind connect with their body? Let me turn off this so you guys can see better. Okay. What can help Rosalind feel more grounded in their body? And then lastly, what will help them stay grounded throughout their day? So the first thing I'm seeing is we've got 2 major arcana cards. We've got 2 swords cards. So this feels very in your head, right? The swords are all about thoughts. They're all about that sort of fast moving intellect and the sort of suit of thoughts. So I'm definitely noticing some thoughts here, which makes sense when you're, I'm so sorry, I'm cutting off of the page's head. Anyway, so I am noticing some big cards. So these major arcana cards are, these are those bigger moments, these bigger lessons that we're learning, and these bigger moments. Whereas the swords cards, by the way, these are both court cards too. So these are personality traits that they may be having difficulty with, or maybe personality traits that they're being invited into stepping into, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the first question. What is causing Rosalind to feel ungrounded? And we've got this Page of Swords. And so my first thought would be asking those sorts of why questions that there's no answer to. Inquisitive, this is definitely like thinking, very much a thoughtful card. This is maybe not taking action on anything, but definitely asking a lot of questions. And so when I think about something that would have us not feeling grounded, it's about asking us, yeah, we're going to get to that in just a minute, Maida. The Page of Swords is all about, or that like feeling ungrounded is all about asking why questions, like why me, or why is this happening, or this or that. I feel like those why questions keep us in this state and this cycle of questioning. And so to me, I would say what is causing me to feel ungrounded is it's constantly asking these questions that I don't have the answers to. So for Rosalind, maybe they are constantly asking these questions that they have no answer to, and that's having them feel ungrounded. Next. Oh, I said you guys were going to do that. You guys are going to do it. Okay, I'm going to talk about them and then you're going to journal. You're going to write your interpretation, okay? Next up, the death card, because Maida asked about it. We've got the rebirth. So death isn't about dying, although in a sense, I guess it is. It's not about, physically leaving this realm sort of dying, but I like to associate this card with a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. So the caterpillar is no longer there, but the butterfly emerges. So with the death card, it's all about something permanently changing, something permanently shifting. So here we've got the practices to feel more grounded. There's definitely an invitation, I feel like, for some transformation. I'm going to stop associating them with the places because I want you guys to do that. That was the promise. But I'll talk about the cards, okay? Okay, physical body connection. We've got the world and completion. This card is all about like the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new one. So this to me feels like a new beginning and a completion. So I'm going to let you guys do the actual interpretation though. And then lastly, what can help me stay grounded throughout the day? We've got this Knight of Swords, which is impulsive. And don't forget, I don't read with reversals, but I do read shadow sides. So to help me stay grounded, this is the fastest moving card in the deck. It's impulsive. This is the epitome, I feel like, of not being or not feeling grounded. So I would definitely say the opposite of this personality trait is what Rosalind is being invited into. So what I'd like you guys to do next is let's start with number one. What is causing me to feel grounded? And I want you to put it in the comments. What is your interpretation for the Page of Swords being in this spot? What is causing me to feel grounded? What advice could you give Rosalind in terms of what they may be experiencing to feel ungrounded? Second, questioning yourself. Absolutely. That could be a very valid interpretation. And when I'm doing a reading, I might say, hey, Rosalind, have you been second guessing yourself? Have you been thinking too much? Have you been overthinking a situation or circumstance? I love that, Sarah. That's perfect too. I like to ask questions because I don't feel like it's my job to know something about somebody. I feel like it's their job to tell me how it resonates with them. I like to be the conduit that helps them open themselves up to their own intuition. And so I like to ask a lot of questions. Those are both great. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to add for this number one spot? Okay, so we're going to say, Rosalind, have you been second guessing yourself? Have you been thinking too much? Have you been overthinking? And then we're going to say, here are some practices to help you feel more grounded. What do you guys interpret number two to be with this rebirth? Practices to feel more grounded with the death card and the keyword rebirth. It may be time to trust your instincts. Yeah, I love that, Maria. Perception. Yes, I think the death card is all about perception. I think the death card comes when we have finally agreed to shift our perception, right, Corey? That rebirth can only happen from a new way of being, new way of thinking. So yes, absolutely. Maybe do some shadow work, 100%. This is the Scorpio energy. It is about shadow work. Transformation comes from shadow work, 100%. This could be So this could be like, if you're the type of person who can help walk people through shadow work, I would say yes. Like a practice that you could do, Rosalind, to feel more grounded is to really dig into why you're not feeling, why you're questioning yourself, why you are thinking too much, why are you focusing on these things. Once you do that shadow work, you can turn it around. Once you are able to look at what it's triggering, what these circumstances are triggering in you, then you'll be able to start moving forward. I really love that, Sarah. Any other ideas for number two? By the way, guys, there's no wrong interpretation. You yourself, as a tarot reader, are going to interpret it the way you do, and you bring your own special magic. There is no right or wrong. And sometimes our intuition tells us something completely different than what the card is even about, and that is okay. I know we had multiple people ask this question. If you have your intuition screaming something or even whispering something, trust it over the meaning of the card, okay? Okay, next, let's do card number three, physical body connection. We've got the completion and the world. What could this mean for Rosalind in terms of how they can better connect in with their physical body? I love that this card is naked. You can see that, you know, she has these wands here. She is nude. She is also surrounded by, you know, the four suits. We've got them depicted here. Leo for fire, the bull for Taurus, et cetera, et cetera. We've got like all four of the elements depicted here. So what would you say to Rosalind about physical body connection with this card, the world? Ah, I love that. I love that, Sarah. I think that that is definitely something that comes up for me when I see characters that are nude. And also, Sarah, your depiction too of this one, your interpretation was shadow work. This would be like full acceptance of self, full acceptance of body, and stepping into that true version of you. You know, the nude is that true depiction of the body. Aha, learning to love everything about herself. You can ground yourself. Exactly. Grounding through physical connection. I like that, Maria. Anybody else want to interpret number three? Anybody else having, is there anybody having any difficulties? Feel free to let me know too. We can talk it through. Okay, then the last one. What can help Rosalind stay grounded throughout the day? We got the Knight of Swords here, which says impulsive. So I'd love to hear what you guys think may help Rosalind stay grounded throughout the day based off of this card, the Knight of Swords. I like to think of these court cards, slow down. Yes, perfect, Sarah, 100%. And I almost even think that like with this impulsivity, there could be an invitation for a routine as well. Because impulsive is exactly like not having a routine. It's about doing whatever whim you have in the moment at the moment. So there may be an invitation here for a routine and slowing down. I really like that. Honor her needs. Yes. Daily meditations. Yeah, and I might even ask with this card coming up, I might say, like, do you feel like you're constantly running throughout your day? Do you feel like you're running from one thing to the next? Do you feel exhausted? Do you feel like you're putting out fires all day long every day? I can't count how many times I've felt like that. Like I'm just chasing my tail trying to get everything done. I might ask that too and say, um, like, I feel like you're being invited to slow down here. I feel like you're being invited to like create a routine for yourself and, maybe do some meditation, maybe, you know, that shadow work. Okay, so to wrap everything up, guys, let's do a summary for Rosalind. What is Rosalind's summary for this reading? I love to summarize at the end of my reading. I feel like it helps wrap everything up in a nice little bow. I feel like it also helps my client with my final question, which I try to always remember to ask, which is, what are you taking away from this reading? It helps them know what they're taking away, first off. It helps really ground all of the information in a very succinct, easy way. And also it puts that closing on it. Otherwise, like we'd just be sitting there staring at each other. Sometimes I'm doing live readings, so that would just mean me staring into the camera. But it brings that conclusion, that closing. So I'd love to see what your guys' interpretations are for a wrap up for all four cards. What would you say to Rosalind to wrap up this reading for them? I feel really weird having the Page of Swords head cut off. Let's do this. How's that? I think you guys are just typing, right? Is anybody going to take a stab at it? I feel like the art of a wrap up is very important. So even if you are doing readings for yourself, I encourage you to do a little wrap up and a little summary. Whether this is in your journal or you just say it out loud to yourself, I think that is a very important part of, really moving through that full reading. Ah, Maria did it. Good job, Maria. Raj, you need to stop second guessing yourself and start trusting your intuition. Start grounding yourself and maybe do some meditations to help you focus. I love it. The only thing I would suggest, Maria, is to use words that aren't you need to. I think that something along the lines of, I'm seeing here that you could stop second guessing yourself and start that, right? So there's some other ways you can phrase that instead of need to, that I would encourage you to use. When I built that 181 spreads, I had to go back and change all of the shoulds and needs to. So like I do it too. So don't think I'm picking on you. But just something to watch, just something to watch. Okay, Sarah, cards are suggesting that you may have a lot on your mind. I love how you phrase that as suggesting, Sarah. Cards are suggesting that you may have a lot on your mind. It might be beneficial for you to work on getting to know yourself through daily meditations. I love it. Yes. Maria, I was so thankful that Canva has a search feature so I could search for the word need and put new words in for every single one of them, and should and put new words in for all of them. I I am mindful of that already when I'm creating spreads, but I was surprised as that there were 30. total needs in the entire document. I was like, man. Yep. Okay. You guys did a great job. Thank you for taking that stab at it. And then, like I said, I like to finalize it and finish it off by saying, Rosalind, what are you taking away from this? A lot of times when I do my summary, they're going to respond and they're going to be like, yeah, I definitely want to do blah, 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 blah. Or, yeah, I know. Usually they say, yeah, I know I need to blah, 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 blah. I love it, Sarah. Yeah, so anyway, usually I do the wrap up. Usually they respond in some way or another, and I try to validate them. A lot of times too, these cards can be super validating. This is not necessarily a very validating reading, but there's a lot of them that are. And I make sure to tell them, I think this is validating you. But then at the very end, I say, okay, Rosalind, what are you taking away from this? And they're going to be like, oh, maybe it's, I'm going to start slowing down. I'm going to find a way to create that routine and slow down. One of the things that this does, first off, it helps you as a reader to know that your reading was resonant. So that helps you build confidence in your reading skills and in your intuition, but it also helps your client, because as your client is walking away from your table or leaving the Zoom room or however you do your readings, maybe it's friends and family, they are taking away one nugget that you helped them solidify before they walked away from the reading. So this can be really powerful for your client or even for yourself. So if you're doing a reading for yourself, I still encourage you to wrap it up, do like a full wrap up. What is this telling me? And then say, what am I taking away from this reading? There's some reading journals in, let me go ahead and switch here. Turn on my video. Okay, there are some reading journals in multiple different places. So in the tarot journal, the last 20 pages are some readings journals. They're specifically for 3-card readings, but you could always squeeze more in if you wanted. Also in the members area, we've got, where else are there? Oh yeah, so in the 5-day challenge bonuses, there are these 20 done for you spreads. At the end of this spreads journal or spreads, we have these journal pages. So there's the 5-card spread, there's a 3-card spread, and there's a 1-card spread. And so even if you had a 4-card spread, you could use the 5, and I bet you could even squeeze in a 6th if you were doing a 6-card spread. So I encourage you, whether you use one of these journals or even just write it down in your own journal, as you work with spreads, as you work with your readings, your interpretations, you will start to notice more and more overlap. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. How do I do that? Am I sharing my screen even? I don't think I'm even sharing my screen, am I? Sorry about that, guys. I thought I was sharing, but I wasn't. Okay, so anyway, in this members area, Learn Tarot 5-day challenge, bonuses, done for you spreads. At the very end, we've got these spread journals. I'm like, I can't stop sharing. I must not be sharing. Okay, so you can find them there. You can also find them in the tarot journal. Just a quick reminder, if you're not in the membership and you would like the tarot journal, you can get this right now without becoming a member. The link is above this video here. So in this tarot journal, the last 20 pages are these. And now I'd like to open it up for questions. I know Sarah asked a question that I'd love to answer. But I'd like to open it up to any questions that you guys have. Let me see some comments. Thanks a lot. I'm still doing 1 card at a time, and that's totally fine, Maida. 1 card at a time is perfectly fine too. Ask one powerful question, flip it up, and have that card be your answer, and that's absolutely perfect. If you don't ask that powerful question, you might find it hard to figure out how that card is relevant, right? So having a spread question, even just one, can help you figure out the relevance for that card. Okay, so I wrote down a couple questions. Let me make sure I didn't forget anything. Oh, Right. Okay, so for the questions, uh, is Sarah with us? Sarah Murray. Are you still with us, Sarah? Okay, so Sarah Murray asked, how do you remember so much information about oracle cards and how will you decide which keyword will help with that? So I love this question. I'm going to go ahead and share again the other screen because I think that it's interesting. It's going to be interesting. Asked to start video. Okay. Let me stop sharing this one. Okay, so here's the thing. When I'm using oracle cards, and the reason why Sarah asked this is because every morning on TikTok Live, I pull a free oracle card for everyone. So Sarah sees me on a regular basis pull these oracle cards and do one card quick readings around the oracle cards. And so I feel like for Sarah, how do you remember so much information about oracle cards and how will you decide which keyword? One of the things about me pulling cards on live is I choose cards that I understand. So I'm going to show these really amazing cards right here. This is Kyle Gray's Gateway of Light Activation Oracle. Okay, I'm going to set it up so you can kind of see the book and you can see a card. Okay, so this is a really powerful oracle deck and I love it, but I don't read with it for one card readings on my lives. Why? Because I have no idea what the Oracle of Melchizedek is. I'm just not familiar with this. Stargate Heart. I'm just not familiar. I would have to do a lot of studying with this deck in order to pull it for my lives. However, I don't mind using it for a private reading or even just like a live reading, knowing that I can like open it up to the book and I can read about it. I use this for myself a lot and for other things, but I don't use it on the live because it doesn't have keywords on it that make it easy to use. Now it does have these descriptions like throat chakra, authenticity, self-expression. So if I were to use these on the live, I would say, where have you possibly not been expressing yourself? So the throat chakra is about authenticity and self-expression. So it feels redundant here. So authenticity and self-expression. I could always read this card of where may you get benefit out of expressing yourself more? How have you been feeling like you want to express yourself? I didn't read the book. I didn't do anything. I'm just going off of these descriptions down here. The divine matrix, interconnectedness, synchronicity, God incidences. So I don't even know what God incidences is. This is one of the reasons I don't use this deck. But I could just say synchronicity, like where have synchronicities been popping up? Have you been seeing repeating numbers? Have you been seeing signs from the universe? This is an invitation to look out for those signs. It's not complicated. You don't need to complicate it. Infinite potential. I can speak on infinite potential, even if I don't know much about the stellar gateway. Manifestation vortex. I have no idea. Maybe that's like a vortex where you can manifest. I don't know. But infinite potential I can speak on, like where might you be holding back? Where may you be, blocking your potential? Where may you be limiting yourself? This is an invitation to let go of those negative beliefs or the limiting beliefs that are limiting your potential. So I don't read with these because they're just not familiar enough keywords. So let me kind of go through another deck. I love affirmations because you can just read them. So for example, this personal power. I trust my intuition. I deserve respect. So we don't even have to do a reading. We can just read it. So I love affirmations cards for things like that. And I actually do use even affirmations cards in readings, my tarot readings. Um, and if you'd like, I can explain a little bit more about that as well. So Sarah actually gave me this deck right here. So let's talk about it. I never read this book. I'm just going to be totally honest. I have never read this Cosmic Cat book. I just pull a card and I talk about it. Innocence. Look through fresh eyes. So I'm like, you know, this is an invitation to start over. This is an invitation to look at a situation from a beginner's perspective. Are you dealing with a problem? And are you looking for a solution? This is an invitation to start over. Vanity, it's all about meow. These ones sometimes get me a little stuck, honestly, and I feel pretty in the moment of like having to be like, I feel like this is about asking yourself how you can be of service for others, how you can take others' needs and wants into account, in addition to ourselves, right? Because we don't want to sacrifice our needs either. Expose, time to come clean. Is there something you're keeping from somebody that you've been feeling guilty about? This is an invitation to come clean and to, have that conversation that may be difficult. So I just kind of talk about it. You could alternatively read about each and every one of these cards and just do kind of like what we do in tarot in terms of building a relationship with your oracle cards. But basically, I just make sure that I'm using cards with good keywords. So another example, I'm going to see, yes, a really good example. I really wanted to use these cards here. These are, I think that we'll round off this question with this example because I think this is important. Okay, so here I have the Crystal Spirits deck, and I love this deck. It is gorgeous. It is humongous. There are so many cards in it. Okay, so I'm going to show you. When I brought this back from Phoenix, I had been doing my morning lives for a while, and I really wanted to use it on there, right? I was like, I want to use this on my morning lives, and I'm not exactly sure how I can do that because I don't know anything about crystals. So as these came, they have just the name of the crystal on them, right? So pretend like this isn't there. We've got malachite. So I actually spent an entire evening and I went through this book and I put them in order. So they're numbered. I put them in order from 1 to whatever. I think there's 58 cards in here. So I put them in order and then I came here to the book and then I found the first one. Where's the first one? Okay, so here's number 1. So I just read about it. So let's take a look at malachite real quick. So let's go to number 34. I always like them when they're numbered nicely too. Okay, 34. Okay, so here's the book, Malachite. I'm hoping you guys can see that. I'm going to pause a little bit to make sure that it's visible here in the camera. Okay, good. So let's just kind of do this. So essential meaning, clarity of thought and emotions, the right use of intellect, integrating thoughts and intuition. And then I read the entire thing, and these are actually pretty big. So we've got the message, the relationship message, the prosperity message, the crystal spirit meditation. So there's like 3 pages for each of these. And then I decided, how could I best bring through this message in my own way? Because I'm not going to be able to tell everybody or somebody everything that's in here. It starts out by saying overthinking can make you feel like you're starting to lose it. But Malachite spirit has appeared to let you know that there's a difference between unproductive ruminating and taking the time to apply logic that can help you make some sense of what you know. Reasoning with clarity means the right use of intellect as you consider all evidence. Right, so I just read all of that, and then I wrote some keywords at the top so that I could use this on that morning live. So I've got thoughts plus intuition and clarity of thought. And so when I read it, my reading is probably going to be a lot different than what's in this book because I'm going to read based off of my my relationship with this. So I'm going to give random examples of times in my life when I've needed this. Times in my life. A lot of times I talk about how thoughts are intuition. Thoughts can be a form of intuition because I have thoughts plus intuition up here. So I talk about how, one of my ways that intuition comes through is through my thoughts. And so we talk about that when I pull this card. And so I went through and I labeled each and every one of these with some sort of keywords so that I could be able to read them on my life. And then I feel like just use a keyword that feels good for you, that encompasses the meaning of the card. This is clarity and discernment. A lot of times I talk to people when I pull this card for them about how they can trust themselves and trust their sense of discernment. Here we've got freedom and overcoming obstacles. I always invite them to find their personal power so that they can overcome that obstacle and gain the freedom that they're looking for. So I don't need the book to actually read each of these cards. I hope that made sense, Sarah. Okay, Corey asked, how do you know what cards to shadow read? Some of it has to do with the context, right? So for example, in that last reading, this one right here, let me see what number 4 was again. Number 4 was, what can help me stay grounded through the day, right? There's no way I'm going to say, okay, to stay grounded through the day, you need to be impulsive. You need to run full speed ahead and you need to do all the things and you need to be impulsive. So I know without a doubt, based off of the context and what I know about being grounded and staying grounded, that this is a shadow card. So one of it's just like the sort of common sense thing. Like I would never tell somebody to something they should step into. I would never tell them to step into something negative, for example, something that feels difficult and negative. I would always pick an empowering meaning, right? So if this was in a step into spot, I would say you're being invited to step into comfort and you're being invited to let go of fear, anxiety, and worry, right? So I would definitely read that as a shadow meaning for step into. However, something that's blocking you, I mean, that to me feels very upright. That feels like anxiety. What's blocking you? Worry, fear. So if this isn't a what's blocking you spot, I'm always going to read it upright. If it's in a step into spot, I'm always going to read it shadow side, right? So that's first, is like the sort of common knowing, that I would never read that in that way. But then in addition, it's just all about feeling into it. If I feel like someone's stuck, like a lot of times, like this high priestess comes up and I'm feeling like there is a withholding of trust in their intuition. So a lot of times I don't say you're not trusting your intuition, right? Even though that's the feeling I'm getting, a lot of times I say you're being invited to trust in your intuition even more, because I want to validate them for the times that they do. It's never an always or nothing. So I always want to validate my client first and foremost if I can. So even if I'm feeling like they're just not trusting in their intuition at all, I'm going to say something along the lines of, you're being invited into trusting in your intuition even more. What is the next step of that for you? Even if I'm feeling it's in a shadow side, I may not exactly read it that way. I hope that makes sense, Corey. Let me know if you want me to answer that further, if that makes sense. Are there any other questions? I think we had one more question that was in the group. Let me see if I can find my questions now. Okay, so someone else asked, oh, you're so welcome. So this is from Desiree. I've always read based on intuition. Sometimes my readings don't align with the specific definitions, but the sitter confirms accuracy. This is part of the reason learning has been so difficult. I always say trust your intuition. Like sometimes I will pull cards and I will know what the book meaning of this is, and then I will think something completely different. I'm like, I have never felt that with this card before, but I'm feeling it now. I trust it and move on. I start with the book meanings. If I don't have any intuition coming through, guess I should cover some of that nakedness down there. If I don't have anything coming through specifically for my intuition, I go with the meanings, I go with logic, I go with, we're providing a catalyst and advice for our clients or ourselves. So what makes sense? What makes sense in this context of, what our client is asking for, or the spread that we've been pulled up, right? This live has really been helpful. I love that, Pamela. You guys are so welcome. Thank you for being here with me. I really appreciate it. Are there any more questions? Let's do another switchy. I'm so glad too that you guys didn't have any trouble seeing my tabletop video. Any other questions before we jump off of here? Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me during this live. Thanks for everything. You guys are amazing. When do we do this again? I love this question, Maida. So I don't have my next tarot related live event like this planned, but this was great. I have a better understanding of this. Yes, I love that, guys. You're so welcome. Okay, so the next live event that's going to be taking place is going to be next Friday. This live event is going to be on the Taurus new moon. Taurus is all about abundance. Taurus is all about feeling grounded, feeling into the stillness. Yay, Corey. I love this. Me too. So I am planning the next live event for next Friday. Let me pull it up in my calendar real quick and I'll tell you what time. I will be posting the event here in the Love, Magic, and Personal Power group. I'll probably post it in the High Priestess Tarot School as well. Okay, let me look. 6 p.m. Mountain Time on Friday. I plan on having a money bowl workshop. Have you guys heard of a money bowl? What I'd like to do is every other week. Honestly, I'd like to do a live training like this every other week and an experiential exercise every other week. I think that that's something that I could really love. So a money bowl, I'm going to show you guys mine. A money bowl is something that we create to help us call in abundance. So my money bowl has bay leaves with things that I'm calling in on it. It's got gifted green. It's got a lot of green crystals and gifted crystals. So got some pyrite in it. It's got some herbs, some salt. It's got this little tree crystal. Bay leaves with things that I'm calling in. This one says High Priestess Tarot School. I created this before the Tarot School even existed. We've got intuition. We've got generosity. I always like to put some change in mine as well. So this is what a money bowl looks like. And I would like to do a money bowl workshop next week so that we can all refresh our money bowls if we have them, or create one if we don't. Would you guys like that? This will be like the shadow work workshop, in which, at least for this one, it's going to be free for any of my members and $7 for a non-member. It sounds like I need one. So I like to try to refresh my money bowl once a month. I don't always get to it, but for the Taurus new moon, I definitely want to add some more things to it. I want to cleanse everything. So I'm going to be posting that event in the next few days. Stay tuned for that. Like I said, it'll be free for members and $7 for non-members. So I'm gearing up to launch Magic and Intuition Mastery and the Shadow Work Workshop and the Money Bowl Workshop. These things are going to live in that portal. So part of why I'm doing this is for content that will forever live in the Magic and Intuition Mastery, which is going to be my flagship course all about intuition and magic. So but I will offer it for a couple of days for the replay for anybody in the membership as a special bonus. And I hope you guys all join me. Any other questions before we wrap up, guys? Thanks for being here. We've been going for 1 hour and 20 minutes. When will that open back up? That's a great question, Sarah. Last week I was thinking like I wanted to go for an 8-week launch. I haven't 100% decided yet, but I'm going to nail down a date soon. We're going to do a 3-day challenge prior, and then it will open, and I'm really excited. It's going to be so fun. And basically I want it to be super experiential. One of the things that I love doing is facilitating experiential events. And so I definitely plan on having a lot of experiential exercises in there. There's already so many with all the new moon and full moon workshops and things like that. Thanks for the heart, Pamela. Magic and Intuition Mastery, Corey. It is right now it's a closed membership. You're so welcome, guys. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. Thanks for being here, guys. I will see you next week as we do the Money Bowl workshop. Bye. You're welcome, Sarah.